Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
And today, Eric and I are going to talk a little bit about the Logan trailer that just dropped. The trailer and the Red Band trailer. We didn't realize that they put that out until seconds before we made this video. Well, I guess a minute and 56 seconds, because we watched it. It's like 7 seconds longer than the other one. It just has what makes it Red Band is that we saw claws go through a dude's head, and then
at the end he's covered in blood.
He's covered in blood. Yes, absolutely.
It's the same shot though. I think it's her grabbing his hand and him holding her hand, but he's all bloody.
Is it exactly the same shot? We should have compared them.
We should have.
Yeah, but anyway, so
video ruined.
This is a movie that I have been really excited about and was anticipating even more with the finally the announcement of what the title was going to be,
and then the poster,
and with that really cool poster, and just everything we've heard about this has got me really riled up for it. And then I read Old Man Logan, which I had never actually sat down and read, despite the fact that
by the time this is up.
Yeah, we did a review of that, and it won't be up by the time this is up, but I'll have it up in the next couple days. I've still got to put it together. But you'll have to forgive me with that one because we do a little bit of Logan speculation in that, mostly just saying how could they possibly adapt the book as much as maybe we'd like them to.
Those comments can be relentless for when that comes out.
Maybe so.
You're like, idiots, the trailer came out, why didn't you just watch the trailer?
They won't be. I'll put in a disclaimer or something. But anyway, but that's why I'm mentioning it here, just so that folks know we recorded that before the trailer came out. So having said that, let's go ahead and begin with the Old Man Logan stuff that we noticed. I'm glad that I read that. I was prepared for this trailer. Looks way more Old Man Logan-y than I expected it to.
It looks kind of what I would have expected.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's Mad Max.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of where I thought they would go with it.
I guess just finally seeing it immediately made me kind of relieved. Not that I was worried, but I was just like, I think it's just, this is what I hoped it would look like.
Yeah.
And it does. But here's the thing. In that video that nobody's seen yet, we, unless you watch this a few days from now, then maybe you have. You
people from the future.
We both said, that what makes Old Man Logan so great is all of the Marvel Universe stuff.
Right.
The world building.
The stuff
and we
you
were
see
like,
along the trip.
This only takes place in X-Men universe, and you can't have all that cool stuff. You can't have President Red Skull and the Hulks and all the stuff that they do there. You can't have the Spider-Mobile. So is it gonna
you can't have Venom T-Rex.
The best thing ever. So is it going to be as exciting and fun, especially if it's still a road trip movie, if you can't have all this cool signposts? And I'm still asking that question to some degree.
It looks like they are trying to.
I'm not worried about it either.
It looks like they're trying to kind of tip the balance or tip the scales. We're going back on this is a fun, crazy thing, and it looks like it's gonna be a character piece. We're replacing all the crazy with like character stuff. That's what the trailer looks like.
Do you think that all of the Wolverine claw violent stuff we see is at the end, or do you think that this is not even that much of Old Man Logan, that it's not about his being a pacifist and refusing to...
I don't think we're gonna get
I don't think they're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Well, and also, if they did, it looks like anyway that it would have to be a different impetus for it, because I don't think it's going to be that family story where because the reason he stops doing violence is for his kids and for his family.
Yeah.
And I don't think he has that here.
Well,
or if he does, we haven't seen it yet.
I'm interested to know if he murdered all the X-Men.
Me too. There's a lot of things that do seem to potentially be tracking. We've got a lot of clues.
Well, and
his powers aren't working as well.
Yeah, he's not healing as well.
Yeah.
Well, and I was wondering if maybe he
and Professor X says the mutants are gone, and the question is, did he murder a lot of them, or are they gone for some other reason? I imagine it'll be some kind of like genetic weapon or something. I think that's more likely where they'll go.
Well, and one of the things that made me think maybe he wouldn't like pop his claws till the end, like Old Man Logan, is on the poster. It's not a poster where he's got his claws out. It's just his hand. Which made me think that they might
go there.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible that we're seeing action stuff from later in the film.
That's what I was wondering about, yeah.
So, we have a character who isn't named, but probably is X-23. And she might have a different name, but
one thing they've come out and said it's basically that character.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll call her X-23 necessarily.
Yeah, well, and that'd be weird if she's not connected to Weapon,
the Weapon X program, yeah.
Which I hope she's not.
Although they could potentially kind of bookend it and rope it back into that somehow.
Yeah, I guess they could.
There could be a new Weapon X program, or... Because, okay, the question is, how... She's young. If there are no mutants left, then how is she a mutant? So it's possible somebody's trying to, like, recreate mutants,
Well, it doesn't mean that there's no new mutant births. Like, something could have just wiped out a bunch of mutants. But not stopped the...
I guess we don't know.
The line, yeah.
Yeah.
But she's in part of this, and then she's not in any of the action scenes?
That we saw.
Yeah. Do you think maybe she's kidnapped, and that is the impetus for the road trip? It's like, we might get, like, 20 minutes of, like, Logan, like, starting to raise this girl, and then she's taken.
So she, for the sake of the story, would serve both as... But then obviously the twist isn't the same, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. She would serve both as... Hawkeye's impetus for going on the road trip, and Wolverine's, where he's her family, but he's also Spider-Girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Spider.
Well, that wasn't his reason for going on the trip. He goes on the trip because the super soldier serum drugs...
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
no. That's just
that becomes
happens,
a side thing.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah. But I'm just saying she would sort of serve both those roles.
Yeah.
Except that she probably doesn't turn out to be trying to become the Kingpin.
What I want to know is... Okay, so Logan's taking care of old Professor X.
Yeah.
Where is everyone else? Like that, like, and I don't mean that, like, criticizing it or, like, making fun of it. I mean, where is everyone? Why is Logan the man that's taking care of old Professor X?
I don't understand the point you're making. Well, we know the mutants are gone.
Well, I mean...
They make that a big plot point, like, there are no more of them left, is the sense I got.
I got the sense that there's not a lot left.
I think he says there's none of them left, basically, right?
I thought he said there aren't many of us left.
We'll have to look at it again.
But I kind of wonder if we're going to get some people back like we do Days of Future Past and we watch them die. Like Cyclops will come back.
That'd be cool.
Rogue will come back.
I kind of doubt it.
That seems like a thing that would have leaked.
Yes,
if it hasn't, that'd be amazing.
No, that would be amazing, yeah. I mean, it was amazing enough that we didn't know about everybody that was in that last scene in Days of Future Past.
Yeah. But I feel like I went into the Wolverine even knowing Jean was in it.
We knew that.
I knew that? Okay. It's been forever.
That was an early thing that we knew about with that. Because that was the thing that made us realize what time period it was set in.
Yeah.
That, like, it had to have been in the future or present day.
Yeah.
Although I think for a while we didn't know how she was integrated, and then at some point we even learned before the movie came out that it was in his head.
Yeah.
So I guess I have to broach the obvious timeline question. This is going to be a thing that squarely stands on its own and probably will never do anything with ever again, right? Like,
you would think.
I imagine that it will not matter whether or not all roads lead to here.
Yeah. It would be dumb to, like, even try and, as the filmmakers, be like, well, this is where everything was going before Days of Future Past, or now that we've reset everything, this is where the Deadpool universe is going. Like, it doesn't matter.
That's a good point, too. Yeah, I mean, I imagine if there's any sort of discussion about it at all, I'm not sure how they make it clear that this is the future of the soft reboot versus the future of...
I mean, maybe it would make sense if it was
X1, X3.
If it was just Days of Future Past.
Yeah, and I think that's likely, especially because it would be even more sad if we went through Days of Future Past and Wolverine has, like, lived through that apocalypse and everything. I hope we know for sure, to be honest with you, because there are two Wolverines right now.
Well...
is this the one... Here's the thing. There's almost three of them, right? Because you have the one who goes through the original timeline, and this could be of that timeline, right? Like, are you with me so far? Like Days of Future Past...
1, 2, 3, Days of Future Past.
Yes, Days of Future... No, forget Days of Future Past.
Okay.
Like, Days of Future Past hasn't happened.
Okay.
And we get, like, this future instead or something.
Okay.
So, like... because this couldn't happen before that. It's confusing. Okay, maybe there are just two. Yeah. Anyway, so you have the Days of Future Past version where he gets snapped back to the future and has to be told everything that happened in the interim. And then you have the one that we saw in Apocalypse, who would live all of that, but then he would get paved over, so it would still have to be that version. But then if we're not even keeping track of continuity, like Apocalypse is not, it might not make a difference.
Yeah, well, because, like...
This one should remember going back to the 70s and all of that.
Well...
Because this Xavier is clearly older.
Well, the problem with it being...
And he's clearly older.
With it being, like, post Days of Future Past, and that's how we explain why there's no mutants, is that Wolverine is the one that goes to the past and then wakes up in a future. He can't wake back up but still be in this timeline.
Yeah, exactly.
But
this could be the timeline. This could be a new post-apocalypse that happens after the kind of ideal future that we see at the end of Days of Future Past, is what I'm saying.
Which Bryan Singer says isn't even canon, so what's even the point in trying to figure this out? They're not thinking about
and it's sad because I want it all to fit, because Days of Future Past gave us a great opportunity, and that was only 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, because I read you a blurb the other day about this movie.
It's 2070, I think.
Oh, wait, is it that late? I thought it was like 2024.
Oh, no, it's not that soon.
Is it?
I think it's like 2050, 2070, something like that.
We need to look that up again, because it should not be that early. Because that's around when the apocalypse happens in Days of Future Past. Although it could have been really interesting if it was that early. And we paved it over with a different apocalypse at exactly the same time after Days of Future... But then...
Well, but that would make this a time
happen.
travel story, and we don't want that.
And the problem with that is... Not the way I was thinking of it, but then I'm wrong. And the problem with that is, like, he gets way older looking than he was in Days of Future Past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't think the situation is any worse.
Well, I mean...
They might be for him personally.
Well, I mean... He had a stylized graying in Days of Future Past, but is he any more gray, really?
No, I guess he's just more unkempt.
He's just kind
really.
of salt and peppery.
Yeah. And he's got his healing factor thing. But, like, we talked about this with the book, that in the book there's not any explanation.
I'm hoping there's an explanation. And if there's some kind of genetic virus wiping out mutants, that would be a suitable explanation.
No, absolutely.
Is that, like, his body... Okay, let's assume it's a disease. His body is, like, fighting off the disease, so it can't be... it can't heal normal wounds.
It's working overtime.
Because it's always fighting this disease.
No, that's really good. So, Professor X has, like, all of this equipment over him. Mm-hmm. And I'm just wondering what all that stuff is, and if any of it... It
can't be to keep him alive, because he doesn't have it in the truck.
Right, so I'm just wondering what it is, and if any of it has anything to do with telepathy and Cerebro.
Like Cerebro, yeah.
That's what I'm wondering. Because we can't do Professor X without doing some version of Cerebro.
I love
There's always a Cerebro.
They're living in a fallen water tower.
I didn't catch that.
Awesome.
I saw the water tower, but I didn't pick up on the fact that that's where they are.
Oh yeah, no, there's a big hole in it.
Oh yes,
that's right. Walk in.
That's cool.
Yeah, I love that. That's a fun, fun post-apocalypse thing.
So obviously it looks like Mad Max. You don't want it to just feel like a rip-off of that, but it's right
not
for this.
It's not as nuts as Mad Max.
That's right for this material,
mm-hmm.
and that's obviously an influence on Old Man Logan in the first place, I think. So
absolutely.
It ought to look like that, but I have to preface the statement with saying that besides Mad Max, of course, just inside of superhero stuff, this is unlike anything we've seen.
Oh, absolutely.
And just the stylized nature of it. Boy, I hope the story matches that, because this could be something really special.
Yeah.
And I was so disappointed with Apocalypse. I would love to suddenly have a movie in the X-Men universe that I like as well or better than Days of Future Past.
Do you really want the X-Men movies to keep, like, giving you hope and then dashing it and then giving you hope and then dashing it?
No, and I also don't want the only ones that I like to be the ones that don't really count for continuity either. Obviously, Days of Future Past isn't wholly that, but there's those pieces now that don't matter already. We're one movie past it.
Yeah. Something that they do that's super not Mad Maxy. We go to a city and we're inside buildings. We see him inside of what looks like a hotel hallway to me.
That's a good point. And we also stay mostly outside in Old Man Logan.
Yeah.
We don't go inside a lot. We go to the White House. We go into a few places, but
which suggests we're going to get a couple of different locations, not just going to be the desert.
Well, and it's always fun. Yeah, and that's good because it's always fun to explore old places that are that where nobody's there when you have a post-apocalyptic thing like this. That's the no man's land thing that I really love. But you get the sense with Old Man Logan that it's long enough now, or that because of the supervillains taking over, that they've kind of picked things clean so much that there just aren't even hardly remnants of the big cities left.
Yeah.
Or maybe we just don't go to them.
In the comic?
In the comic, yeah.
No, it's because of the Moloids.
Oh, that's right. They suck it all.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, they eat the Foundation away. Or whatever they do to the Foundation. I assume they're eating it.
And that's how they create that Mad Max-like world.
Yeah.
And we're clearly not doing that here.
Well, you couldn't.
No,
well,
they could come up with some other thing.
They're Fox. They own the Moloids.
Right. But I'm just saying, no, they could. They could always make it some other thing. I'm just saying we're not getting rid of the cities necessarily.
Yeah.
Is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, which means maybe where they are just looks like that. Like, they...
Well,
there's
maybe wasteland areas. Well, sure, they could be. I guess half the thing could take place in Arizona. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I like that it looks like it might still be a road trip thing.
Yeah, we see almost all of Professor X stuff is in the car,
except for when he's in his bed.
Except for when he's in his bed.
And that looks like an off-road thing where it's like we can't do.
Is it a Hummer?
Is it?
I'm not. It's.
Or is it like a big Jeep thing?
I'm not sure. It's got a big back for a Jeep. I don't think it's a Jeep.
Okay.
Jeep, let me in.
But I mean, it would have. I mean, you can't do the Spider-Mobile, obviously, but it's cool that they're still thinking about that.
Yeah, it looks semi-armored. It's not an open top like the comic, but.
So I'm wondering, of course, what Sinister's going to be like. And we don't have any glimpse of him here, as far as I can tell.
We have this guy who the trailer makes look like the bad guy. We see him twice, and he puts on these sunglasses, and I'm hoping that's not Sinister. We've theorized that he's going to be the Hulk stand-in. He might be the guy that sets him on the journey, and he deals with when he gets back.
Or if, like, Wolverine is for some reason beholden to someone like he is in Old Man Logan, that's the guy.
Now, the director, James Mangold, has been kind of dodgy about the Sinister thing.
Yeah.
Because after that came out, he posted on Twitter, he was like, what's Sinister? And I don't know if...
Oh, so it could just be a rumor thing.
It could be a rumor, or it could be the con thing. I don't know.
Impossible to tell at this point.
Well, and given how they're clearly not planning at Fox, even if they say, this is setting up Wolverine, I don't believe them.
Yeah.
Because look at Days of Future Past.
And it's rough because we don't know what the next X-Men movie is going to be, and who knows if they're even planning anything right now.
Yeah. New Mutants is supposed to be coming.
Is that still supposed to happen?
They've got a writer and director. I think that's still supposed to happen. I haven't heard about the X-Force one.
I don't know that we're pushing anything in pre-production right now to come out before whatever the next X-Men movie is, though, besides Deadpool 2. I think it might be New Mutants. I think that might come out before X-Men. We'll have to look that up, because I haven't heard that that's even in pre-production, but I haven't been looking closely at that.
They have a cast, I think.
Oh, okay. All right.
I might be wrong, but I think...
You're the only person I know that's talking about that. You keep bringing that up, I have no idea if that's even still...
Because they announced New Mutants and X-Force, and I haven't heard about X-Force in forever, but I do periodically hear things about New Mutants. We'll look that up.
But I keep hearing things like, well, they're doing these TV shows, so maybe those things won't happen, and so I don't even know.
The TV shows are falling apart. One of them lost its... Was it Hellfire? It lost its...
I think so.
Head writer.
Well, and there's the one that we had a trailer for, so it's definitely coming.
Is that Legion?
I forget. I think so.
Well, if it wasn't Hellfire, it's Legion. I don't care.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't care after I watched it. What else should we talk about? This it'd be really cool, and they won't do this probably, but if Sinister is in it, it'd be cool if what they were thinking was, we didn't want that to leak, and they just don't show him until we get there, and then he's just off the page Sinister.
Well,
because I want Sinister to be, if we pattern this very much off of Old Man Logan, besides the aesthetic and the general idea, and we are looking at the plotting of that book at all, I want him to be the stand-in for Red Skull. Yeah, I want him to be overseeing everything, and he's the big reveal of who's behind all this stuff.
I'm wondering if maybe they are gun-shy from Apocalypse, where... The first pictures we saw of Apocalypse, everyone made fun of him relentlessly. And even though in the finished movie,
he looks fine.
He doesn't look anything like he did in those original released images. People still kept saying, "Oh, he looks like Ivan Ooze," he didn't in the first place. He was just also purple. But they changed They changed it from purple to blue.
It wasn't that he was purple, it was the lighting. Everybody was in purple light in that. I don't know what people were talking about. He lit up more purple because of the way they shot. I mean, they should have known that when they did that photo shoot, but whatever.
But so they might be gun-shy about that. If they have a big, comic book-looking character, they might be a little gun-shy. They're going to wait till he's done.
One thing I'm wondering, too, is if Sinister really is in it and he turns out to be... Like, maybe there's a... Like we were suggesting, maybe that other guy, if he's not somehow Sinister, maybe that guy...
becomes
Sinister? Well, no, what I was going to say is... That, I mean, if he's not somehow Sinister, becomes Sinister or something. Mm-hmm. Maybe that guy is, like, the primary villain at first, but then there's somebody, again, behind everything that maybe created this world in the first place, intentionally took all the mutants off the map, and what if Sinister is both Red Skull and Fishbowl Head? What if he's Mysterio. What if he's also Mysterio?
Yeah. Well, and I mean...
Like what if he's the thing that mind controls Wolverine to kill all the mutants?
Well, and he's a geneticist.
But he can't kill all the mutants.
Yeah.
Is the thing, because that would be silly.
And he's a geneticist, and that all fits with him. Here's why I don't think Sinister's going to be in this. I don't think he's going to be
It'll be fun to go back to this when he's there.
Yeah. The reason I don't think he's going to be in it is I don't think he is the last big X-Men villain they have. I don't think they use him here. They save him for an X-Men movie. Can
I suggest that they could, but maybe this is too counterintuitive for a big studio, but then so much of Days of Future Past was a fan film done right. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, and, Bryan Singer's not involved with this, but what if Sinister's like this weird backdoor thing where we introduce him in the future and then we use him in the past?
I mean, sure, they could do that.
But, I don't know.
I mean, they don't care. They clearly don't care.
I know. I used to take this so much more seriously and wish I still could, but whatever. Well, any last thoughts? Anything else we should bring up that we didn't talk about?
Well, the one last thing I wanted to mention is I have a history with trailers, especially in the last couple of years. And especially with, I think Suicide Squad was the first big one. Where you're
always wrong. If they're good, if you think they look great, you hate the movie, and no, I'm just kidding.
That's not what I'm talking about.
I'm just kidding.
Hey, I was dodgy on Suicide Squad. No, it is this... It starts big with Guardians, but it's not always this soundtrack trailer where we pick a song
we need to talk about
everyone's heard. It works here. First of all, I love Johnny Cash's Hurt. It's one of my favorite songs of all time.
And it's the obvious song, but in the best possible way. I can't imagine putting anything else there.
And I've seen trailers for other movies where they use a song that sounds like this, and I think it's because they don't want to go to Hurt because it's obvious, but I've heard other songs where it's not Johnny Cash, but it sounds like Johnny Cash.
And it's always covers, too, right? Like, it's always... like country-ish covers or slowing down a faster song. Yeah. Usually a female voice. Well, I've been getting that a lot lately.
Well, it's funny because technically that is what this is. This is a cover of a Nine Inch Nails song.
Oh, no, that's exactly what it is, sure.
They just did it
but that's what I'm saying.
Years ago.
Yeah.
I think the song works really, really well.
I always tend to read into lyrics of things like this, and because sometimes it'll actually inform the piece and tell you things that they're not visually telling you.
And sometimes it's Suicide Squad.
Yeah, but where the music doesn't inform the piece even inside the piece, and it's the same music. And this is a case where I don't actually want that song to be in the movie. I don't think it should be in the movie. No. But it's a great thing to sell it on, and I don't think it will be. I hear people sometimes say like, well, if it's in the trailer, it should be in the movie. Ooh, case by case.
That's not.
Case by case. But
I would say more times than not, no. Sometimes, but I think more often than not, just because the song's in a trailer, it shouldn't necessarily be.
There could be a double entendre thing with the lyrics. Wolverine could literally be hurting himself on purpose.
Well, and it hurts every time.
Yeah, but I mean, like he could be popping his claws out, knowing he's not going to heal because he's punishing himself for something.
Oh.
He also could have, in the first place, hurt himself by accidentally killing all the mutants or something. So I mean, like, there's potentially some character stuff in that. It might not just be a mood thing, is the point I'm making.
Yeah, you might be right. Well, and I kind of assumed it was.
Mm-hmm. But we're not always that careful and clever with
the claws.
Yeah.
I'm going to be really angry if we are in fact doing the not popping claws thing, and that headshot is the first claw pop of the movie.
Yeah.
Why? Put that in your trailer.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna be like I would be upset if that was the first claw pop.
No.
But if we have to build to that, if we're waiting for it and they put it in the trailer, I hope they're not that stupid.
I hope so too.
Trailers give away too much these days a lot of time. And for a first trailer, and everywhere this is posted, it's called a trailer, not a teaser. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, and it's shorter than most of the teasers we've been getting.
Shorter than the Power Rangers teaser.
It gets me more excited. It shows me more.
Yeah. Well, and
this has 10 times what the Power Rangers teaser has in it.
Well, and it's what a trailer ought to be. Where I think a lot of trailers anyway. And that's why this early. I mean, it's in March. It's like 6 months. Like this early. I'm hoping that this doesn't mean we're going to get a bunch more trailers that show us a lot more stuff. This is the trailer that, and I mean, I can't expect this because we usually do, and even Fox, usually longer stuff. Although First Class was so like a sleeper thing and they were careful not to show us too much of anything. I hope this is played that way. I think it's likely to be.
I don't think Days of Future Past showed us a lot, did it?
No, they were really careful too.
I don't think the Wolverine did.
We saw images in print of everybody if you were looking for it, but the trailers were real careful not to show too much.
Yeah.
This does those quick flashes of stuff that's clearly all the way through the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just makes you want to go. I'm so excited about it.
I think, because we've gotten a bunch of trailers in the past couple of weeks, I think this is the best one. I think this might be the best one I've seen since Comic-Con.
Now, to be fair, this was also already the movie I was most pumped for next year.
It might be the movie I'm most pumped for next year.
Most certainly is, for me.
I mean...
And I'm more excited about Power Rangers than you are. I think that's got potential.
We might get a trailer for Spider-Man that's going to knock my socks off.
Good point.
But right now, I think it's probably the movie I'm most excited for next year.
Which is funny, because then, for me, that's just 2014 all over again. Days of Future Past over all the Marvel stuff. That was the big thing for me.
I had that with Apocalypse this year.
Yeah, and...
I got burned.
And I was excited about that, too. But I was, I expected more from BVS, I guess.
Yeah.
So, anyway, real quick, the only other thing I wanted to say is, this is rare. Isn't it kind of amusing and unusual that we're going to have 3 movies in a franchise, and it's not a trilogy at all? There's no sitting down watching these 3 movies. Like the 3 solo Wolverine movies. Isn't that weird? Like
I thought you meant Deadpool, Apocalypse, Logan. I was like,
I see. No,
that would be a weird viewing experience.
That's what I'm saying. You've got 3 movies with Wolverine in the title,
and they're not. Yeah, you're right.
It's not a trilogy.
They're not connected at all, and you don't need to watch the first one ever.
Because it was a spin-off thing in the first place. I can't think of another example. I mean, there are examples potentially of a thing that spun off and then had its own set of movies, but I'm saying a thing that spins off, has movies in between other movies that character is in, and they together do not form anything remotely resembling...
Well, I mean...
a viewing experience or a piece.
I don't know, like we certainly have trilogies of movies where they're standalone stories.
Mm-hmm. But these aren't even all in the same continuity. And the argument might be able to be made later that they're all 3 in different continuities.
Well...
Kind of.
Well, and one of the things I was wondering is that maybe if somehow this would be a sequel to The Wolverine, because one of the things that we knew was that James Mangold thinks the bone claws look cooler, and he takes the claws away at the end of The Wolverine so that in the 3rd one he can have the bone claws. He doesn't. He has the metal claws. Which is kind of a bummer for him.
But not for me.
Yeah, not for me either, really.
I mean, I'm kind of glad they're not doing that, But also, I hope we can use that as a clue to figure out where this is set timeline-wise. But again, I'm not sure I should care about that anymore.
Well, and it's weird, right? This is the same director as the last one? It's not even in the same continuity?
Probably, potentially. And I think it's possible to make this movie without even really... talking about that too much.
And the Wolverine's like that with X-Men Origins Wolverine. It has nothing to do with that movie.
Well, that's true. Yeah. But we had already kind of gotten away from that.
But...
although I guess that's the next thing that Wolverine is even involved in, so that's not even a fair statement.
Yeah, aside from one
because First Class goes back, all the way back, yeah. So anyway, whatever.
But, I'm excited.
I'm stoked.
Did you ever give your prediction about what's going to happen to Wolverine at the end of this? Is that on video?
I'm trying to remember what my prediction was. I had a prediction.
Okay, I'm stealing it.
Yeah, no, go. Well, it's mine. Start it, and I'm sure I'll remember it. This is the thing we had in a private conversation. I forget right away.
So Cap's prediction is that Wolverine dies at the end of this movie.
Oh, okay. Is that all?
Yeah,
I thought maybe it was like a complex prediction.
No.
With like a whole how he would die.
Well,
oh no, I think he dies definitely.
I think Professor X dies too. I think this is the death of both of them.
Oh no, I think Professor X dies halfway through the movie.
Oh, you think so?
I don't think he even goes all the way through it.
You might be right.
I think that's going to be them doing X3 better, where they kill him off in the middle of the movie, and it doesn't make you want to pop claws and stab yourself.
And this might be his last time too.
It's almost certainly going to be his last time. Yeah. How else would we contrive it?
I could think of ways.
Well, sure, but they're not going to go there. Probably. I mean, they probably won't do that.
You don't want to see Patrick Stewart as Onslaught?
Oh no, I really want to see Patrick Stewart as Onslaught. I don't care what anybody says. I'm the only person in the world calling for Onslaught. And yes, I know, Onslaught's stupid, but you could totally do that in the movies. I've always wanted us to do more...
With Patrick Stewart.
Yes, well, I would be fine with it with McAvoy too, but we've always in the comics, or a lot in the comics, dealt with moral ambiguity with Professor X. And it would be so interesting to personify that as a villain. Don't take anything from the comics, just that idea.
I like his helmet.
And that's a suit you can totally change and no one will care. No. Although I think it's really funny that during Marvel Now, toward the beginning of that, with Bendis, that Magneto was just wearing an Onslaught helmet, and I don't understand that.
Oh yeah, it's just kind of longer, but it's white.
Yeah, but it looked like an Onslaught helmet.
Well, and over in Uncanny Avengers, we were doing Onslaught.
Was it Onslaught?
That's when Red Skull takes Professor Xavier's brain, he becomes Red Onslaught.
Is that what they called him? I don't remember them actually calling him that.
Yeah, they call him that. It's really dumb.
I don't remember that, but they didn't actually use the Onslaught suit.
Yes, they do.
Do they really?
It's an Axis. At the beginning of Axis, he's
I've read that. I don't remember that.
I'll
Weird.
After.
Okay, I mean, I've read that, but it's been a while. Anyway, well, everybody, thanks always for watching. We sure appreciate it. That's going to be it for us today. And we will see you again soon with X-Men, with Old Man Logan and some other stuff. I'm Captain Logan.
I'm Eric.
Thanks again for watching, folks.